So after you learn the dink and the volley, you need to learn how to serve. If you don't know how to serve, you won't be able to play a point of pickleball. Serving starts the point. So in this video, we're going to be going over how to serve, the 3 steps to serve, where to serve, and tips and tricks for you to learn your serve as fast as possible. Let's get started. So when I serve, if I am on the left half, I need to serve to the right box. If I am on the right half, I have to serve to the left box. You have to serve diagonally, right? You need to serve diagonal. Now, when you serve, you need to make sure you are behind this line. And the big thing is your serve can't go in your opponent's kitchen. So if I hit a serve and the serve is too short, if it goes into my opponent's kitchen, that means that they won the point. Also, this is in tennis. You only get one shot. If you automatically lose the serve, then what's going to happen or if you miss the serve, you're going to automatically lose the point. Now, how do we serve? Well, you go like this, right? You toss the ball up and you smash it down. No, you do not, because you have to make sure you are below your hip. You are not allowed to make contact above your hip. So I want you to think about the 3 B's: behind the line, below the ball, and below the hip. Once again, I need to make sure I'm behind the line on my serve, I'm going below the ball, and I'm making contact below my hip. Now, that was a pretty cool serve, wasn't it? It's very easy. All you're going to do is step number 1, you're going to make sure that you are facing sideways. Now, when I face sideways, I want to pretend that I am on my skateboard. Now, my skateboard isn't facing straight ahead. My skateboard is facing towards my target. Another way that you could think about proper ready position is that you want your front hip, you want to pretend that there's a laser shining out of your front hip. You want that front hip facing forward towards the box, okay? So I have my paddle here. I'm facing sideways, my front hip's facing towards the box that I want to hit, okay? Now, after I do that, and after I'm in the proper position behind the line, facing my opponent sideways, right? I'm surfing. Now we're going to get into the next step. Now, after we get the proper positioning, now we have to get in the proper stance. Now, if you'll see advanced servers, they could go like this, they could do whatever they want, but we're starting out, we're trying to learn the serve. So this is the easiest way possible to eliminate the most things that could go wrong. We're trying to simplify it for you guys. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out in a snow angel. You're going to spread your wings. You're going to be in the proper position, hips facing where your opponent wants to go, and you're going to start out with your wings open. What does that mean? My paddle's back, my tossing arm is forward. Again, when I start out, I want to make sure my paddle's back and I want to make sure my tossing arm is forward. The reason why is because now you don't have to worry about synchronizing the take back with the toss. All you're going to do is hold the ball out in front, you're going to have your paddle back, so it's simple to just go and hit. Now, big thing, when you're tossing the ball, you need to make contact below your hip. So you want to drop the ball at your hip. A lot of players, they drop the ball too high, so then they have to hit super high. I want to drop the ball at my hip to minimize the amount of errors that I could have making contact up. So I'm going to drop the ball at my hip, and then I'm going to hit. Another thing, when players drop the ball, tennis players, we toss the ball. You want to make sure that you're dropping the ball. There's a big thing. A lot of players, they have trouble because they toss the ball up, their palms facing up. I want to make sure my palm is facing down. So I'm spreading my wings, my palm's facing down. All I'm going to do is release the ball. Note, I'm going to drop. I'm going to release the ball. I'm not going to slam the ball. A lot of people have trouble because they're slamming their toss. Paddle back, arm facing forward, and all I'm going to do is drop and hit. Once again, I'm going to drop and hit. One more. Here we are. Paddle back, hips facing forward. We're in step number 1, okay? We are ready to go. Now, I'm going to drop and hit. I'm going to drop and hit. Why am I saying drop and hit so many times? Because I want you to say it next time you're out on court. If you can say it out loud, it's going to teach yourself the muscle memory. It's going to synchronize your right arm with your left arm, or your left arm with your right arm. So I want you to literally say out loud, scream it to the heavens. You're going to start and you're going to drop and hit. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So again, step number 1, we're going to be in the proper position, hips facing to the side, our wings are already out. Step number 2, we're going to drop and hit. And now step number 3. Step number 3, what are we going to do? We are going to finish. Step number 1, step number 2, drop and hit. Notice I said it. And step number 3, I am finishing. Notice I'm going to turn around. I'm not going to move my paddle. Here we are, like I'm facing you. Where am I finishing? I'm finishing up. I'm finishing forward. My paddle tip is facing forward. Once again, when I drop and I hit and I finish, I want my paddle up, I want my paddle forward, and I want the tip of my paddle facing forward. Why do I want to tip my paddle facing forward, or more specifically facing to my target? Because wherever I point the tip of my paddle to, the ball is going to go. A lot of players are going to struggle with learning the serves because they're stopping and it's not going long enough, right? The ball won't have enough power to cross the net. They're going forward, the ball's going to go right in the net, or they're going to move their wrist and now the tip of the paddle is facing another way and they're not going forward and they can't locate their toss. So how do we make it as simple as possible? We made your ready position as simple as possible. We made your toss as simple as possible. So dropping at the hip, right, and saying it out loud. Now we're going to make your finish as simple as possible by just pointing the tip of the paddle forward towards my target. Now, when you're starting out, you need enough power to get it over the kitchen, right? But it doesn't have to be that hard, guys. A great serve, when you're just picking it up, all it has to be is to get the ball in. It can be as slow as possible. Why can the serve be as slow as possible? Because remember, your opponent has to let the ball bounce before they hit their return. So if you could get that ball deep and slow, that's just as good as a serve that's going like that to a certain extent. It's going to be effective. Depth is greater than power, even at a beginner level, or it's especially effective at a beginner level. So again, step number 1, hips facing towards where you want to hit. It's the same motion on both sides. Step number 2, I'm going to be in the proper position, or step number 1.5, proper position. Step number 2, I'm going to drop and hit. And step number 3, I'm going to finish with the tip of my paddle facing forward towards where I want to hit it. Now, if you could put all 3 of these steps together, you will be able to hit a serve in pickleball. You're going to be able to start a point at pickleball, and you're not going to have that many headaches. You're not going to have to watch so many videos because I just gave you a 3-step process to learn your serve. Once again, make sure you're behind the line. You're making contact below the ball and below the hip, the 3 Bs, and you're going to be good to go. Again, this is the 3rd biggest shot that you need to learn in pickleball. Number 1 was your dink. I'm going to put the link in the description. Number 2 was your block volley, and now number 3 is your serve. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to follow us on Meetup, and if you want these simple, easy to implement instructions in your community, if you want fun, upbeat pickleball, you want mixers, you want dinks and drinks, you want community pickleball clinics, make sure to click the form in the description, and I might see you on court. Have a good one, happy hitting, and I'll see you guys next time.